Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's live stream. We are live right now and we're doing a question time. If you don't know what question time is, there's a chance for you to ask any question you like about game dev, Unreal Engine, anything you really want at all. Doesn't really matter really. All you gotta do is put a question in the chat and I'll try and grab as many questions as I can whilst we are live here for the next hour or so. So first of all, I want to say hello everyone and welcome to 2025. Hope everyone's doing okay and doing well. There's a few changes coming to the channel. A few new bits coming in and things like that, but Wednesdays is still question time, so we're going to answer some of your questions. So start putting into chat and we'll grab some as they come. Mic is a bit low. Let me see what I can do about that. Camera a bit high. Yeah, I had to move the camera setup. Hang on, let me see if I can move the camera a bit. Mic. Let me sort out the input gain on that a little bit more. Okay, let's try that out. How's that sound? That's better. That should be better. And the camera will just go. Well, that's not as exciting down there. You can't see Bowser. There you go. So I've actually got something a little bit nicer to do with the question time stream that will hopefully help people out. And I haven't tested it out yet, so I'm going to see if it works. So as you can see, we've got this gap now at the bottom, and I'm hoping we can just go. He says on here. Oh shit! Hang on. Why can't I do that? Hang on. Oh, that would help if I was in the right window. Hopefully, I can get the question that I'm answering to appear at the bottom. Oh, why is that not working? Hang on. Let's see. I'll give it a shot if it doesn't work. Use this widget by hovering over the right hand side of the chat message to see a thumbtack icon. Click on it will pin the message to the widget for its duration until you click the unpin button. Yeah, that is it. So why don't I see the little unpin button? That's annoying. That's really irritating. Why can't I see that? Use this widget by hovering over the right hand side of a chat message. Yeah, click on it, it doesn't do anything. Oh, I was really hoping this would work. Oh, that's the live dashboard. That ain't gonna work, is it? Why can't I do that? Anyone familiar with Streamlabs? I'll do a quick Google as to why it's not working. Because I can't test it without anyone chatting. So let me do a quick check. Streamlabs chat highlight. Ooh. Don't know why this doesn't work. Oh, source. Here we go. Why can't I pick a source? Hang on. We can do Unreal. We just struggle with everything else here. Hang on. Dismiss that. Can I do it from here? Oh, okay. I can pin message. Okay, does this work? Hang on. I have to do it from this screen. Hold on. Can I make this bigger? Pop out. There we go. So if I go to this question here, pin that. Does that appear at the bottom of the screen? No. Well, that's a rubbish widget. It don't work. Oh, that's irritating. Yeah, it shows a pin in the chat, but not on this video. Oh, damn it. Poo. Okay, right, well, that's annoying. I don't get why it doesn't work as it should work. Screw it. In that case, we'll just make this thing big again. Hold on. Ooh. There we go. Anyway, let's answer some questions, because otherwise, what's the point of being here? So yes, let's take a look at some of the questions coming through here. By the way, if I do miss a question, don't fret, just put it back in the chat and I'll try and grab it a second time around. Will you ever make a gas tutorial and gas attribute set? Probably one day. Yeah, it's just catching up with other things at the moment. Recorded today more go-karting videos and more PCG videos today, but I mean, there's always something to make, so we'll see. Iron Thumbs, Game Angler, yeah, I may be there in Colchester 1. Ipswich 1, I don't know if I will. I have signed up to it, so I don't know if I will make it or not. We'll see close to the time. Things get busy on how we get on there. Will there be more game jams this year? Yes. Also, really short ones, the last thing on weekend or week. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yes, there will be game jams again. Also, when is the Mass Framework tutorial series? Oh wait, there's another question. I have a question. Is the Mass Framework a good tool to make large crowds of enemies, or should I do Niagara and Vertex animations instead? I don't know, to be honest. It's something you have to experiment with and test out. But possibly the Mass Framework. I mean, it can, but it'll probably be simplified in some sense. So if they're not doing anything sort of crazy, yeah, it should be okay with it. But I'm not too entirely certain. It's one of those things you have to just test out. Next question. From JMW, would you recommend learning coding specifically for Unreal Engine? I mean, I think coding should be learned anyway, regardless of what you're doing it for, be it game engines, web, whatever, as it will give you a really unique, cool skill set. but also helps you makes it easier to understand other things like game engines, for example. I only learned Unreal Engine as quickly as I did because I have a past of software development and coding in various languages, and so it made that translation a lot easier. Yes, but I mean you don't need it, but I always do recommend it. But if you are to focus on what you want to typically focus on, so if you're doing software development or game development, then you're looking at C++ if you're using Unreal, or C# if you're using Unity. If you're doing more web development stuff, you're looking at more PHP, JavaScript stuff, you know, that sort of thing. Furious Warg, did you see the Unreal Engine myth busting video? Would you recommend watching for anyone? I only wish it came out. Yeah, it's worth watching. It covers a lot of things that I get asked about all the time, or misconceptions I see people talking about all the time. Yeah, it's worth watching. All those Unreal Fest videos are kind of worth watching, I think. But that one specifically is really good. Oh, Leo, hey. How do you do a grab move on an RTS camera, preferably using movement input and a pawn? Grab move? What do you mean by grab move? But when you like click the mouse and move it around like this? Is that what you're talking about? XY movement. I don't know what you mean. Like if you're trying to do this sort of thing, I thought I did it on that RTS thing. But yeah, if you are doing something like that, how can I best show that off? Let's make an RTS camera. A simple one. I'm not gonna do a full one. I should really add a spring arm, really make life a bit easier. And we'll just turn that all off. Rotate that up like that. So do that there. Get the player controller. Whoops. Set view target with blend. Self. Okay. Okay. So if you're doing like a grab with the spring arm, camera, floating pawn movement component, and movement input from input action. Oh, right, yeah, I see you're trying. Yeah. You don't have to be that. So you don't have to do floating pawn movement unless you are making the camera the pawn. It doesn't need to be. But if you do want to do that in that certain way, ignore this stuff so far. When you get like the move input action like this with the mouse, imagine this is the mouse. Actually, be a look, wouldn't it? In this case, you want to get the delta movement of the mouse, and that's what this action value is. It gives you the delta movement of it, and then you just multiply that by the direction that you want it to go through. So split there. We do add movement input oh, it's not a pawn. I'll just do it here. Just imagine. Just imagine it's a pawn. So you take the scale value. That would be your action value X and Y, and then the direction here would be up, down, left, or right. So if it's X, for example, you're doing left and right. So it'd be the actors, or get the camera actor, right vector, and put that in there. And then you have another one for the up and down for the Y axis, but it's just taking this delta value that's coming from this. And if you want to make it stronger, just multiply that delta value by whatever you like. But that should be what you're trying to do. It would be just the same for just the mouse, that's all. It's more the holding click between two locations. I still don't understand. If you're just moving the camera though, you don't need to register the location of the mouse. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the delta change of the mouse position. So you don't need to get the position of it, unless I'm misunderstanding what you're trying to do. Yeah, yeah, so yeah, this is just taking, this doesn't take in the position, this takes in the delta and just moves the mouse around with the delta. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Next question. Are there any workaround or frameworks that let you use non-temporal anti-aliasing for Unreal Engine 5? My RHI teacher told me to integrate SMA AE by myself, but I wonder if there's any solution to that. Not that I'm aware of. I mean, not that I'm aware of. It may be. I've never looked. The delta is that input action that you're getting from the movement, from the IA look. Leroy. Anti-aliasing method. So you got multi-sampling if that's what you're trying to do here, but well, select. It just means none. Okay. That's literally all I know about. I don't know if there's anything else out there that people have made to do different methods of anti-aliasing. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I should take it back on. Never mind. Next question. Shifei, I have an aim offset. When I look directly behind it, it will stutter left to right, left to right. How do you fix this? It's not easy to talk about that without making a whole thing. It's going to take a whole hour. Nope, wrong one. So yeah, I'm not too sure how to show that without making a whole damn thing. Oh, don't do it again. How the best. So if I'm understanding what your problem is you have when you're doing this, you're talking about it like flip flops really quickly. I haven't got in a specific video, so I can't point it out using a video. But if you think about the issue that the reason why that happens is because the yaw value quickly flip flops between -180 and 180, and if you want to, you can clamp that yaw so it can't go any higher than -179 and then +179, for example. That way, no, that won't work, will it? Because that won't clamp it. Yeah, I can't really do it. We have to. Yeah, I don't know how I can show it. Because I've got to bring in a whole animation thing and do the whole aim offset thing. I mean, you could do a very simple solution would be to add an interp onto the float for the yaw. So when it does change from -180 to 180, it does it properly. But the speed of that would have to be determined by yourself what looks good and what doesn't look good. I'm not going to go through and set it up because it can take the whole hour just to set up aim offsets and with animation stuff. Maybe I'll do more videos on animation stuff down the line that covers it. But you want to experiment with that number that's changing. That's the reason why that's happening is because it's changing between -180 and 180. And it's just how rotators work. It's called a quaternion vector, so it's what it does. No, you can also try and convert it over to non-quaternion units, so it goes between 0 and 360, which you can do with a clamp axis node. A clamp axis node will turn the value between 0 and 360 rather than -180 and 180, which should give you a bit of a smoother experience. So you can try that as well. Yeah, you try those various things out. Next question. Keep on chilling, graphics. I see the scroll bars scrolling up. Hang on. Is baked lighting easy to do with Unreal Engine 5.5 compared to previous versions? Nope, it's exactly the same problem. Although in 5.5, the new Mega Light thing is pretty nice. But if you have to do baked because of the system you're making for, yeah, you have to do it the way that's been described before. Basically turn off Lumen, essentially. It's funny how I ignore questions of accepting that doesn't know anything. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. Which probably would be... Oh, yeah, you asked about the framework. Yeah, I don't know. Trying to find what I can actually answer live. Can you show the delta? As I said, the delta's this bit. Action value X, action value Y. That's delta. With mouse movement. These are your deltas. So it's just what I did here. Game Dev Corner. I'm still somewhat new to Unreal Engine 5, but I had an idea of a game concept and got a question. Would it be difficult to write a script that lets a player switch forms and size on the fly while playing? Not necessarily. I mean, it depends on what you mean by forms. So, yeah. So here we are in the third person map. Okay, so we can make this guy easy change forms, change sizes. Actually, I'm going to have to fix anti-aliasing. It's horrible. Hang on. I should type it in. There we go. We'll use Temple. Yeah, it's nicer. Okay, so if I go to the third person character and we'll make a function, grow size. Another one for shrink size. In grow size, I'm just going to do, you can just do add scale, I think. Add actor transform. No, you have to do it like this. Scale. Set actor scale 3D. And in here, you want to get like the base scale value. So what I'm doing here on the variables is scale. We'll change that to a float. And that'll be default to 1. And on grow size, I'm taking scale here. I'm going to grow it by 0.5. Set it back to scale. And put that into that. And for shrink size, we're going to take exactly the same stuff. Do that. And we'll do negative 0.5. You may want to put like a clamp on it as well. So for example here, clamp float. So it doesn't go anything below 0.2. Or like 0.5, okay. Maximum here of 10. Do that. Might be a good idea to do that. Otherwise you'll disappear. Go into the quantum realm. Yeah, so if I push the 1 key, let's do this. We'll do grow. If I push the, can't do it there. Debug 2, and do shrink size. Do that. So I can change my size, you can see, just fine. Yeah. If you want to change form, all you have to do is spawn a new character in and repossess that new character. Okay. So if you're changing form, wherever that may be, do spawn actor from class. Choose the actor in here. Give it the same transform. Like that. And then you want to possess it. With the player controller. Like that. And then once you've possessed it, you want to destroy. You can't do that yet because it's not pawn. You want to then destroy this one. So after its possession, destroy actor. Okay, and that'll do what you want to do there. But if it's just size, it's that simple. Just change the scale of it. Make sure it's the actor's scale, not just the mesh. Otherwise, the collision will get messed up. You want to do turn in play Shifu? Shifei. Yeah, I have to do a video on that. Again, all animation stuff that take a while to turn on, but yeah. When do you decide to turn on a nanite for a mesh? What is your limit for triangle count? It's all relative. So a triangle count for an object that's large, high one of those is fine. But if it's a small object, then it's not so fine. So it's all relative based upon what the object is. It also depends on how frequent it shows up in my scene. You know, it's all these sort of different elements that come to that decision-making process. And you do the cost benefit analysis of like, is it going to be worthwhile for me to have this as a nanite mesh rather than a normal static mesh, you know? So there are various things to consider, but I'm usually considering the frequency of the object, the size of the object in the scene, the kind of materials that it has and lighting it has, things like that. Generally not a problem nowadays in 5.5, but those first few, definitely, they're big considerations there. Iron Thumbs, is there a better way to do hit effects on enemies than using decals? If received decals are set true, then enemy will also receive them from the world, etc., which looks messy. Yeah, same for on-player weapons. Yes. Nope, that's kind of a problem. Yeah. So one thing you could do is you could do sort of masking thing on the character, so the decal will only affect things on a certain object. So you could do something like, I can make this a decal. I don't think there are decal channels in Unreal. Could be mistaken. I don't remember seeing anything related to. Yeah, no. Yeah, so when you're applying this material, you can you put in your stuff, whatever it may be, blah blah blah, you know, whatever, like blah da 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 da. But you can make it so it doesn't affect it if it's got a certain property. So it only affects the thing that's attached to. I think you can do that. Oh, actually, good question. Double check. I'm not. Ooh, yeah. Hang on. So you've got. I don't know if these work with decals though. Hang on. Yeah, I don't think that works with decals. So if I do use with skeletal meshes on that one, hang on. Oh, hang on. Why is I not happy with that? To do it. If I put that into the scene, yeah, no, it's not gonna like it. Yeah, how the hell? Done something similar to this before, but I can't remember what I did. I think you can, when you spawn it into the thing, make it a new type of decal actor. So when you go to all classes down here, search for decal, you got decal actor, and you'll do like skeletal decal, for example, and it'll have its own things that you can set up, blah blah blah. But this will only work if it's attached to something. So on the event graph on Begin Play, we get the attached parent or attached parent actor, and you will say like it is a character, for example, like that, and then you can determine whether or not this thing should be destroyed or invisible or whatever. So if it's true and it's attached to a character, we'll do set visibility, or actually we'll do hidden game. There you go. I can just do that, I guess. Oh, actually I do not. There you go. Still getting a bit rusty after Christmas break. So something like this could work. So when you spawn in a decal, spawn in this one, and this will check to see whether or not it's actually a decal that can be seen on something. And same for the environment as well. So if it doesn't have an attached, no, if you, but really is the problem of environment decals, doesn't it? Because then, unless you attach them to something, that might be the way to do it, is attach the decal to the actual skeletal mesh or static mesh that you want to do it to. So if you've got it in the world, so like for example, if I put this in the world here and actually attach it to this floor, yeah, that's some cube 1. If I just like that, it shouldn't be visible. Why are you visible? Oh, that's the wrong decal. That's why. Whoops. and now put that onto yeah, there you go. So you could probably make your own type of decals that will just check whether or not they are visible or not on something. Maybe something along those lines you can mess about with and experiment with. I don't think this has any unique functions for decals. No, I don't. So I think it is what it is, really. Any unique functions down here? Again, I don't think there are. No, there aren't. So yeah, I think this would be it's something along these lines would help with that. I'm thinking, give that a shot. Oh, the debuffer. Yeah, you can also do the debuffer stuff, but the that just changes the order of operations of when it gets rendered in. So it only really works if you want to say put a decal on a window, for example. When does it render the transparency or not with transparency? That's where you change the buffer position of it. It's for stuff like that, not necessarily deciding what objects it can go onto. But yeah, using a custom actor like that would probably help quite a bit. Linda McAllister, I'm a total noob in Unreal, but where's the best version to use? Totally subjective. But 5.5 seems pretty good. So keep up the latest one. I'd be happy with that. Bankos, hey, do you use C++ with Unreal? If so, when would you use it over Blueprints? Yes, so, yep. But when you want to use it is, again, it's totally subjective, up to you. The main things that people will switch to using C++ to is if they want to maximize performance out of something, or they want to do something that you can't do inside of Blueprints because it's just not exposed. Because not everything is exposed to Blueprints. A lot more and more is being exposed every day, or every version update. But not necessarily that always the most useful stuff. But most people do it for performance reasons. Now, saying that, performance in Blueprints is really good. And when you should look at it is when you're noticing dips in performance and you want to improve something, or you maximize optimization out of something. But I very much doubt anyone here is having that sort of reaction to any type of game they're making. You have to really push it quite hard to really notice that problem. I think the Witcher team currently said that Witcher 4 currently is all in Blueprint. They haven't made anything in C++ for it, I think. I remember seeing that quote somewhere. I don't know whether it's true or not, I don't know. You're welcome, Nylan. Tsukiyama 471. I'm using gameplay tags and floats on the map, but all the tools I see are for saving one character, not multiple characters. Been struggling with a good way to save multiple characters with changeable stats for character select. I understand the character select part of it, just not the saving info part. So yeah, you're storing it in basically a complex number of structs. I mean, you could save it in different files if you really wanted to. It's totally up to you how you want to actually organize it out. But let's say you are doing it as a single save game object, right? Your variables in here would refer to a struct which will contain all the details about that character. Now, admittedly, if there's a lot of stuff to store, I would avoid using it as a struct entirely, and just make separate save files for each of your characters. Probably be the easiest way of doing it. Because there's the problem you have with structs, like they're all fine and good. So if I do like here character save details, for example, the problem that structs have is that it's very hard to debug a struct. So when something goes wrong, you can't search throughout your debugging for an individual variable inside a struct. You have to search for the whole entire struct, which makes it quite difficult to find where the problem lies. So that's that big downside to it, especially if they're quite large. It's more likely, obviously, because there's more in it, to cause problems. So, I mean, if it was me, I'd probably just make it a separate save file. So you just make different save slots for your characters, and if you want, you can make them store into folders as well. So imagine, like this. I'm just gonna do the game mode for now. So you know when you do create save game object blah blah blah, and then you take it to save game to slot, you can actually make this a folder and put in a folder in here. So you do / characters / and then whatever you like. So actually I can actually show you. If I just do that one there and put begin play, and I'll just do append / characters / and that's a folder directory, and you should be able to just put a name in that you want down here. So for example, I could just put in, if I just put in now, that's it. Oh, I can't get it. I'll just get the hour. There you go. Okay, so let's do that. So when I push play on this and then escape, if I go to the Explorer and saved, save games, characters will now have its own folder, and there's 21. That's the hour that we're on at the moment. So you can organize your save files if you like that. And you can even make like the folder and a name, like a variable name as well. So it could be like the name of your main profile name, and then it could save the stuff inside of that. Yeah, so you can easily make folders for stuff like that. It should be a good way of organizing it. But I'd probably just do it as separate save slots. Yeah. Next question. Super Daniel Grango. It should be a quick answer, but a long explanation. That makes no sense. But anyway, how do you make a simulation game with both parties and AI in Unreal, like Ultimate Battle Sim? I'm currently trying, but any tips? I mean, not really. I haven't played Ultimate Battle Sim, so I don't know. I've only seen bits of it. But it looks to me it's just AI just attacking other AI, so it's not much, I don't think, in the way of sense of like anything new that I haven't shown before on the channel. I'm not entirely certain what kind of simulation would be going on there. What kind of simulation does it do? Is it like simulation, or is it actual simulation? Because I think it's just like simulation. It's in other words, it has the name simulation in the title, but it doesn't actually simulate anything. It's just a load of dudes fighting each other. How do they make the spotlight in Hi-Fi Rush like those dotted ones? I'm trying to replicate the same style. Are you talking about like half-tone sort of design things? Yeah, I can show you how you do that. So to make a half-tone thing on here, you want to get, first of all, the texture coordinate like this, mask it so you get the R and G, or X and Y, out like that. But you just want to get R on its own first of all, and then that will give you like this gradient. Okay, and then you're gonna put that into a sine wave, and you'll get that. And the sine wave, you can do a period over here, and if you change that to like 0.1, you'll get this sort of banding going on. Now, if I were to do that for G as well, put it on G, And put in a sine wave again. Change to 0.1. Okay, we get that. If I multiply these two together, you get that checkerboard effect, okay? And you can do this with gradient as well if you wanted to, but like you can do that sort of thing there. Yeah, and you can plug that into your base color or whatever. To get those in as circles, I've done that before. What the hell did I do? Oh, I think I just done step. I think I've done step. Done like 0.5. Yeah, there you go. So you do like the sort of half-tone circle stuff like that. And if you wanted to, I guess you could do it as a gradient as well. So you just do that and do mask like that. Ooh. You get that sort of design going on there. So we can do some fun things like that. And if you want to make it a light function, you probably could do as well. So I'm going to take that out and just make it like uniform like this. Let's make this a light function. So we'll go to surface, light function, put that into emissive color. We might have to flip this around actually. Do 1 minus. Like that. There we go. So a brief explanation of what's going on. Explanation that's going on here. So the U coordinate for the R here is gradient because it's going between 0 and 1. A sine wave is a wave that goes up and down between 0, 1, -1, back to 0. And I thought we'd do a period of 0.1. Basically, it's going to fit 10 of them in one sort of like wave. Okay, so 0 to 1 becomes 0 to 10 essentially. And because it's going between 1 and -1, those black bits are actually -1. The red bits there are 1. So it goes up to 1, down to -1, and up and down, and so on. And then with G, it does it the other direction, vertically. Yeah. And then we are multiplying the two together. And so basically, every time they intersect, you're going to get a combination of 1 times 1, which is 1. So that will give us the dots, checkerboard effect. The step here, because those checkerboards are not exactly full color, they are gradiated in some fashion. So if I say 0.5 as a step, basically any value that's greater than 0.5 will become 1. Anything less than 0.5 will become 0. And therefore we get our dotted pattern here. So now if I've got that as a light function, I can probably put that on as a light. So if I just go and chuck in a light in here, spotlight, like this. And we'll go down to light function. There it is. And give it the halftone. Will it work? Yeah, there you go. So you can do the sort of dotted sort of pattern like that. And obviously if you want to increase it, you just change the period of your thing here. So if I make it less than that, with 0.05, and then 0.05. Yeah. You get more dots. Okay, so you could do, yeah, I'm guessing that's what you're talking about. I don't know if that's exactly right, but and also you can put this on any light, but that's if you want to do like half tones or images like that, you can do quite easily. Yeah, is that right? Is that what you're trying to do? I can't believe I asked that. Xanthos Ratilum. Let us know if that's something. Is that the effect that you're trying to do? Let me type that. But obviously, this effect you can apply to like this same material. You can this technique you can apply to any sort of thing you want to do, quite easily. Couldn't know you put materials on lights. Yeah, totally can. Yeah, light functions. It's how you do things like water caustics. It's a good way of doing that. You can also like animate them with panners and things like that. It works best when it's white and black, like grey tones. Color doesn't really come through that well. So for example, orange here, for example. You see? So it doesn't really work with colour. So it's literally just white and black. Because the reason why is because the colour is getting overwritten by the actual light itself, like here. You can change it to whatever you like. But yeah. But yeah, let me know if that's what you're trying to do. It sounded like that's what you're trying to do. Nah, should I use Lumen or Bakelite for my game projects? I don't know what to use. I personally don't use Lumen for my game projects because it's not that optimal to use. It really eats up the frame rate. However, saying that, the new Megalites thing is pretty damn rad. So try it with Megalites if you want to. That's only in 5.5 though. Yeah. Let me scroll up here. Tobias, do you know about a bug in 5.3 when you export the game for Linux? You can't play it on Linux since it instantly closes after a black application opens. No, I can't say I've actually exported to Linux before, so I can't really say for certain. Apologies. So I was getting really thirsty. I've never thought in this way. Yeah, kind of like, but I'm like looking for those God Ray type things. So God Ray type. If you want to do God Rays, that's a combination of volumetric lighting, or you can fake it. The old games, like PS1 games, used to fake it. Delete that now. So, but if you want to get those sort of God Ray effects, you're looking at volumetrics, doing things. So yeah, it's all turned on there. So you go to exponential height fog, turn on volumetric fog, like that, and obviously you need something to cast the God Rays, a hole of some kind. Let's quickly make a hole. I'll just do. We'll just do this. Oh, what have I done? Oh dear. Bit too big. Why has it gone? Why is it doing it so big? What? Have they changed the default setting on here? Interactive output set mesh. Yeah, like why is it doing that? I never used to do that. But why is it stupidly nuts like that? Oh well. So you're like your window or whatever it may be. Why is it not getting a hole? Oh, there you go. Then to see the light coming through here, you have to increase the fog of your scene. So that's your volumetric fog. So that's down here. And we'll do the view distance down. No, why is that not coming up? Oh no, I have to turn on the, sorry, I have to turn on the fog density. Whoop. So there's like your God Rays type thing. Yeah. So that's how you get the sort of god rays, is by increasing the fog. Make sure it's volumetric fog turned on. Yeah, that's all that is. But a lot of games just fake it. If they especially if they're like lower, like stylized or cartoony, they'll probably fake it. And if fake it, it's just a model or like a plane or something, or a cylinder. Are only 5.5 features worth upgrading to from an existing 5.4 project access to? Yeah, Megalights is pretty damn good. I've never seen. I haven't played Hi-Fi Rush in a while, so I have to check it out. But yeah. Hi, Kezzy. Oh, thanks. The event was very good. It was very insightful. Basically, everything we improved the game so much since that event. That event was worthwhile because, if you don't know, we exhibited the game Mimic to loads of people, and loads of people played it out. And what was really worthwhile in that is seeing people play it and seeing where to improve it. And a lot of improvements have been made to the game because of that event. So a lot of things have been streamlined, a lot easier to understand, just better in general, and we're in a really good place. And hopefully we'll start doing regular streams of us testing it on the channel. That's one of the big changes that are coming soon to the channel, is a regular testing stream. We'll be testing that game out, and plus any future games. Some other changes coming to the channel as well. We've got a podcast starting soon. I'm recording the first episode this week. And the podcast is going to be interesting because we're going to be discussing current affairs in games industry, as well as tackling other topics too that may be beneficial to other game developers. So this first episode, we're going to be talking about burnout. And the reason why is because last year I had a really bad case of burnout. And I'm going to talk about my experience as almost like therapy, essentially. But I'm going to talk about my experience and also what changes have I led me to do to try and alleviate those problems. And I want to try and bring some guests as well each week if we can. Talk about what they're doing and get their opinions on stuff too. So we're getting back on the podcast route. Filming the first episode this Friday. So hopefully you will start seeing a cadence of that happening at some point soon. But yeah. Oh yeah, the feature of auto-generated nav links is pretty cool too, Rory. I agree. That is awesome. It's pretty handy. How do you replicate increasing the max walk speed? By replicate, I assume you like multiplayer. As long as the server's the one that changes it, and then you multicast the change across, that's that. So in the code, it will look something like, for example, if I put debug key 1 here and say, when I push the 1 key, I want to increase my speed of my character. I have to tell the server that I want to increase the speed, and then the server has to replicate it across to everyone else, because the character movement has to be replicated in that sense. So, for example, one thing you could do here is have a variable in here and do speed, for example. Have a float, and we are set to rep notify, and we're set to 500 by default. And when I press the 1 key, I'm going to set tell the server to set the speed. So make custom event, server call, change speed, and the speed value will go into that. And this will replicate on server. And when I push the 1 key, I'm going to call my server change speed and call it again on released. And speed will do, when I push it, will go to 1000. When I release it, will go back down to 500, for example. But because the server's doing this rep notify thing, that means everyone else is going to have this happen on their system too. And so I'll just take the speed value, which has been replicated already across to all of them, and just set it on the character movement. So set max walk speed. Only if the server's the one that calls it, the rep notify will fire off on everyone. If you don't call it from the server, then it won't happen. But that'll give us the result of increase my walk speed and decrease my walk speed. Obviously, we can't really see it because we're not doing multiplayer. You know? Distance over. Windows. So, yeah, we're on the client here on the left, server on the right. And if I hold down the 1 key, get faster. Okay. If I let go of the 1 key, we go slower. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not logged in. That doesn't matter. Burnout game series. Yeah, it could be, yeah. Toxic question. Probably a simple question, but I'm wondering how challenging is Raycast? I use it in my game to detect almost everything to actually generate a world and where the player is looking, etc. So far, so good, but my levels are more or less test levels. I'm worried about when I create a real map. So the actual Raycast part, probably not that, not impacting your game at all. Yeah, the thing that's going to impact your game is going to be graphical. First and foremost, I'd say 90% of all performance problems are going to be visuals in some kind of way. Code-wise, very little impact. Raycasting, line tracing sort of things, really cheap. Don't worry about them. But yeah, it's the stuff you do with it afterwards that may cause problems. But that's a completely separate issue. But raycasting itself, no, you can do whatever you like with it, really. Looks fine to me. Yeah, looks fine to me as well. Estrada. Carlo, is there a way of featuring UE5 that imitates the dynamic ragdoll system of GTA 5? No, that is a separate API plugin. It won't. I don't know if they have a Unreal Engine thing. I can't remember what it's called now. Crap, I can't remember what it's called. But it's an AI-based system, and where the animation will try to grab hold of things as it flounders around. There are different tools out there that do this now, and you'll find some third-party ones in there, and some of them do have plugins that you can get and pay for. But yeah, it's not built into the engine. Is there any news in FPS RPG tutorial series? Nothing really concrete. I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem with that series was, and this led to the burnout part of the life, is it was really out of scope. It was I scoped it too much and said like, hey, we're gonna do all this crazy stuff. We're gonna do all this stuff in one game, and it felt a bit too large. It felt basically I was making a whole damn game into tutorial form, which is very long. So I would like to do something with it. Maybe split it up into bite-sized chunks, things. I'm still figuring out a way to do it which doesn't burn me out massively. The problem with really long series is that lots of people watch at the start, but not many people watch it by the end. And so, making episode 50 of a series feels kind of pointless because it gets like 10 views or something. So it's not incentivizing to try and do long series. So we're trying to scale that back. You may notice that recent series have been a lot shorter. The kart series is probably the last long one, really. Not that I'm saying we'll ever not do a long one, but I'm just saying like there's been a refocus on what would be more impactful off the bat, but we'll see. Jason Tar, will there be any more work on last year's retro remake? Sadly, not. So Mr. Futures, are you working with inventory items? I thought we did do inventory items. Oh no, we done anything to check to see if we had the inventory items, didn't we? We didn't actually use them. No, sadly not. Burnout. But we are moving to the next retro remake, which we do. I have decided on what the next retro remake is done. I asked Patreon members to give me some suggestions of what they want to see, and I saw a couple of good ones in there that would be mutually beneficial for myself, for something I'm working on, and also for the channel. So we're gonna be doing that. We'll be announcing that in the next weeks or so. Yeah. AD Former. So I've just learned an important lesson in game dev, and that's do not have two blueprints reference each other. So I don't know, how do you have two blueprints talk to each other? Like trigger functions and the other stuff. Keep variables managed. Why would you not have two blueprints? I mean, I don't see why you would have two blueprints referencing each other, but I don't see why that would be a problem. But most of the time, trigger functions, things like that, would be handled by event dispatchers. That'd be handling a lot of that stuff. But yeah. That will have to do, unfortunately, for the question time for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We're live again tomorrow, though. We'll be doing a live session on Let's Create, which is basically a series of live streams that we do where we take a mechanic from an existing game and we try to recreate it for ourselves inside of Unreal Engine. And so tomorrow we'll be taking that iconic sort of menu that you saw in Ocarina of Time, where it's like a cube thing that rotates around. You've got menus. So we're going to showcase how we can possibly do that inside of Unreal. And I'll be doing that live tomorrow. So if you want to join in, watch that live, you're more welcome to. And I'll make the project files available to Patreon Gold members and up as well tomorrow too for that. But otherwise, things to look out for the channel and things that are happening in the new year for the channel. There is going to be a new retro remake announcing soon. Podcast is going to be happening as well. Starting recording that this week, and we'll have guests and things like that. And also I want to invite some of you guys as well as guests too, so keep an eye out for announcements and things like that on that too. As for Mimic, we'll be doing some live stream testing of that for the channel too, for testing purposes as well as marketing purposes as well, as we want to get footage and things like that, so we can build new trailers and things like that and test out the new features we've added to the game too. To Twitch. Oh, Twitch and Pointless. No, sorry, Twitch is on, but I just had the wrong tab open. I just had the wrong tab open. Sorry. It's because I was messing about earlier with trying to highlight text chat things. Nightmare. No, it normally is checked. I just had the wrong tab open. What else is new? I think that's it. Oh, there'll be more shorts and things coming out as well. I'll be at GDC as well this year too. So if you're at GDC in San Francisco, come be doing meetups and things like that. And interviewing people and talking to people there, as well as obviously advertising the game Mimic, as well as other things that are coming to the channel too. So we'll be talking a bit about what I've been secretly working on as well in the coming month or so. We'll see. But yeah, lots of interesting things coming your way, and I can't wait to share them all with everyone. But yeah, enough of me. That'll be for me tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. If you want to support the channel, head over to Patreon. It does help out massively. Wouldn't be doing it without you guys, so thank you so much. This is the full-time gig doing this stuff, so thank you so much for your support. We're back again live tomorrow, and we've got a video coming out on Friday, and more news about the podcast as it gets filmed and uploaded. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.